Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, will the delegate yield for a question?
Will the delegate yield?
I yield.
The delegate yields. Delegate Rasoul.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would ask the delegate, is it true that the State Corporation Commission reported in committee that this bill would increase rates by 23.9% for the affected rate holders?
Delegate Sullivan.
Madam Speaker, I would respond to the delegate by saying the State Corporation Commission did have a representative testify at committee. Frankly, I don't remember the precise percentage. It did, of course, involve an increase, which is why the delegate is asking. But under further questioning, I would point out that the SCC representative noted that there were a number of things, including fuel costs, savings, and things like that, this SCC has not yet taken into account. So the actual effect on ratepayers is still, I think, it's fair to say, subject to debate, but not what the SCC testified to.
Delegate Rasoul.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Would the delegate yield for a further question?
Will the delegate yield?
I yield.
The delegate yields. Delegate Rasoul.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think I would ask the delegate that there were a series of questions, and it was taking into account, for example, energy efficiency measures. So we invest in energy efficiency to make us more energy efficient, but in theory it should dampen our energy bills, so our energy bills would go down. But throughout the bill, including the revenue reduction portion on line 989 is where it begins, but on line 996 it specifically says with regards to revenue reductions. So any energy efficiency that we invest in that reduces the utilities revenues, it says, and I quote, "The Commission shall order increases to the utilities rates for generation and distribution services necessary to recover such revenue reductions and those are related to energy efficiency measures." So is it not true, Madam Speaker, that those savings that we would hope we could pass on, unfortunately, it says here that those savings shall be issued as rate increases?
Delegate Sullivan.
Madam Speaker, I would say to the delegate that, well, I'd say a couple different things. One, that is not how I understand the bill will work. And secondly, as the delegate well knows, when we get this bill into conference, there is a lot of discussion already ongoing about improving several things about the bill, including protection of ratepayers. So I am confident that what this bill will ultimately do and what our energy efficiency resource standard will do will, in fact, contribute to reducing ratepayers' bills.
Delegate Rasoul.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Further question?
Will the delegate yield?
I yield.
The delegate yields. Delegate Rasoul.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I understand and appreciate that there are ongoing negotiations, but it's important for us to highlight a few specific pieces that even the Virginia Poverty Law Center has conceded. This is going to increase people's bills. And you know, I believe, Madam Speaker, that we all are probably going to need to chip in, but we need to be able to make sure that it's done in a fair way. So I'd ask the gentleman, on line 1279, we have a brand new definition of what zero carbon electricity is. And it means electricity generated by any generating unit that does not emit carbon dioxide. And then it goes further on to say, and this has been the concern from the State Corporation, from the Attorney General's office. If you continue, it says that the utility shall procure zero carbon electricity. So what does that mean? If you're concerned about ratepayers, then this says that no matter how much it costs, basically, you're going to do this. If you're an environmentalist and you have this new definition of zero carbon electricity, this is saying that, well, the electricity that we're mainly focused on is only electricity that emits carbon dioxide. We don't care about ozone. We don't care about the others that we talked about yesterday, the sulfates. So isn't it true, Madam Speaker, that the primary concern, I would ask the gentleman, the primary concern from the Attorney General, who has voiced about the notwithstanding provision on line 1395 has not been addressed. And here, further, the language has gotten worse for some of us.
Delegate Sullivan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would say to the delegate that I am loath to trample publicly on ongoing negotiations, but let me just say for to put the delegate, hopefully give him some comfort, that the Attorney General's office is involved in these conversations, and that in my view, and I believe in the Attorney General's view, progress has been made on, frankly, precisely this portion of the bill.
Delegate Rasoul.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Speaking to the bill.
Delegate Rasoul, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As you can see, what we have found is for ratepayers, for environmentalists, across the board, the Clean Economy Act has gotten worse. And in particular, what we find is that the concerns around the offshore wind portions, these concerns have been voiced by so many that even one industry executive says that this could end up costing us, and I'll quote, as much as 3 times more than what an experienced international wind developer would be willing to charge for an independent developed offshore wind project in Virginia, Madam Speaker. Many of you know I'm a big fan, a champion of the Green New Deal. I want to make sure that we're making these investments. But we cannot make these investments the wrong way. It cannot be made to enrich just a few. And we're not saying not to make the investments. We are saying just make sure that the SCC has proper oversight. These words really matter. And in these rate cases, these are the words that they're going to use to determine whether or not ratepayers are going to see an increase of at least potentially 23.9%. So I hope, Madam Speaker, that we'll not only defeat this measure, but we know that the Clean Economy Act continues on, because House Bill 1526 will come back over here. We'll be able to continue to negotiate this bill, negotiate 1526, the House version, and that these measures are paid attention to. Thank you, Madam Speaker.